Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game from EMEA Masters, Winter 2025.
Won Dakali before, and I wonder, can you do that? Obviously not in game one, but can you do that versus Nemesis?
Is he going to allow it, or is he just facing it, accepting the challenge of, you want to play carry? I'll play carry. Because yesterday, Pepe was trying to control and was like, no, I'm the control now. Here we go, champion select. Tell me, Static.
Now, first big takeaway is that Los Ratones, this has been a cornerstone of EMEA Masters so far. They do not like playing the Virus. They do not like leaving it up because Crownie is, Trouble was saying on the cast yesterday was like the Ezreal pick is big as well. We know that for the 2v2, it is so important that they get through the laning phase. I think Virus right now has still some of the strongest laning phase in League of Legends, even in 15.5, and its pairings are so versatile, which is why Los Ratones are sticking with that ban.
However, right here, we might have a Rumble open. And I know Baus doesn't play Rumble, but Howling does. Howling really likes a good carry top laner, and Rumble is a priority, not necessarily bad. Camera is also like pinned on him. So
yeah, I know. I like that idea as well, and he's very versatile in his champion pool as well. In his own right is Howling. I wouldn't be surprised. Like obviously you're not on red side, so you're not going to get that last pick, but I wouldn't be surprised to see something early like this. And exactly as you called it, Giorgio, is that Rumble first pick very contested here in EMEA Masters, and a very powerful pick for Howling specifically.
This is the champion Baus hates the most to play against. But keep in mind that Sign for the first time is open. It's not his champion versus Rumble because he likes the Galio.
But this is, it's such a good matchup into the Rumble and top, and it negates it because the biggest problem is that Rumble is such a good lane bully, and there are very, very few matchups, apart from high range matchups, that can deal with it. So this stops us in its track and also gives Baus that roaming that he loves to play for.
Oh, well, we're talking about the flexibility and draft these teams. It's a flex already here for Los Ratones with the Galio. We have seen Nemesis pick that up a bit more domestically than here at the EMEA Masters, but it's going to be an early Jhin as well. We're not that deep into the champion pools of this Fearless draft, and already resorting to a Jhin. This could be tough if we start seeing a lot of frontline on the other side for Ici Japon.
Because Ivan's gone. Ivan is usually the counter matchup into the Skarner to stop the engage.
I wouldn't be surprised if Esports have been locked in. You already have the setup with the Skarner, the slow through the Rumble ult, and Misfortune is a great matchup into Jhin. They're actually very similar in terms of how they push in the early laning phase. They're both big powerhouses when it comes to just raw AD through their spells. And right here, I think it's Velia's turn. Do you actually go aggro? Do you play for something like potentially a Vi, since you have the Galio or Viego?
Ooh, okay, yes. As we marked up, it's more of the facilitatory jungle versus the carry jungle matchup, Skarner versus Viego. I'm a little bit worried though from Velia's behalf, because I don't know. Skarner does not care about you running him and fighting him, and that's kind of what Viego wants to do. Already, I would say Ici Japon have three very powerful champions, and specifically three very powerful champions in their hands.
We want to see Ici Japon, though, take away the Talia. If we're talking about pairings now, the most important thing is that pairing for Nemesis. Like, things like the Rise could be an option as well for what is building up for a Viego team fighting comp, but I do like coming back to the support picks, or the support ban rather, that we were mentioning in Brom. We were talking a lot about this being Reckless, or at least Reckless is one of the best champions at the moment.
Well, this opens up the AD into the mid lane for Certus as well if he wants to with that Rumble, but it's also the same for Nemesis because we already have the AP for the Galio. So I'm really interested in the matchup of the mid lane, if it's a control or it's going to be a little bit more aggressive.
I would like Syndra or Orianna right here for Certus, or even something like a Victor. Anything that can add onto the AoE, the wombo combo. You've got Skarner set up with the Rumble ult, Misfortune ult falling right on top, immobile AD carry in the likes of Jhin on the other side for Los Ratones.
Yeah, this Brawn ban's very smart though, right? It's Rex's best champion. It's very good into the bullet time from Misfortune, so taking that away, yeah, you got to do that if you see Japon.
Rise gone. That was one of the pairings I was talking about before. I want to add this little marker that right now picking support and leaving that flex for potential counter pick for a solo lane would be ideal here. Rakan is up and available, and while you already have this Galio, this hero's entrance, follow-up engage from Reckless, considering that I personally think his Rakan's one of the best.
Wow.
No, they show that it is going to be a Galio top, as you kind of expect with the Rumble.
I love the takeaway here from the Orianna. I think it would have been an excellent comp together with the Skarner as well, especially since the Skarner can have access and go very deep since he travels through the walls. Great wombo combo with that. However, I just want to talk about a tale as old as time, the LeBlanc versus the Orianna. I don't know if Santos wants to pull it in game number 1. As we mentioned, Victor would be perfect, but It still does exist.
Right off the bat, that would be an interesting one. So you save the support for last, but you need some way to stop that Skarner off going in. Maybe the Rakani we're talking about, or even the Alistar that Reckless actually fancies. How do you stop this one? Because you save the support for last. What is your card?
I feel like
What's on the sleeve?
I feel like I'm in two minds whether or not Reckless just wants to slam something like a Janna down here. I think it's super good into the disengage for what you want against Ici Japon and even like a teamfight reset. However, playing it into Misfortune specifically in the laning phase is tough. But outside of lane, I think it's super good. Do you have enough engage would be the question for Los Ratones. And seeing as this is, you know, I think it's quite a big question. I think it kind of removes it from the equation for now. We do know that Reckless likes these ranged and like semi-ranged supports. So I think these hovers are most likely to be indicative of what we're going to see. And it is going to be that Bard, which, you know, to a similar vein, very good into something like the Misfortune and the disengage and the teamfight reset that we want.
I do think it makes setup a little bit easier here as well. The Rakan was an option, but up against Alistar too, at least for the lane, the range adds in a bit of marker, but I don't know. I'm seeing Lost Ratones once again playing for a strong 5v5.
So this is it. It's going to be LFL versus NLC at the last day of EMEA Winter Split. Whatever you look into this, you'll have a new winner. The trophy will be delivered to a new team, either Ici Japon or Los Ratones. They were able to climb the mountain, but only one king will be able to sit on the throne. This is only game one, of course, but this is how you set up the table, and the game is about to start. With that in mind, casters, take it away.
Who is it? Who is it?
We traveled through
Who is
time, through carpets.
Through carpets?
Yep.
Okay.
And around cork boards. There's nothing like fresh EMEA best of fives. Well,
Wait, are you the guy that was drawing on the desk?
I was that guy. That Caitlyn was me. I have to say, very good drawing from all of us, except you two.
Yep.
What?
I mean,
How can you say all of us except you two?
So me.
It just leaves you. It just leaves you.
Just me. It was good. Good drawing me. Thank you.
oh, dude. Yeah,
Well-
that marker left something to be desired. Not going to see that this game, though, fortunately. That's banned away here from Los Ratones.
Yeah.
Much slightly more interesting jungle matchup, which is tough to say when there's a Skarner in the game, but
Very true.
Diego Forvelia always makes it fun and exciting. Here we go, game one of the finals here of EMEA Masters, LFL versus NLC. Revenge time for NLC on the cards, and LFL want to continue their dominance as one of the better regions that we have here in Europe.
30 seconds until minions
And to bring it to the draft a little bit, I do really like the Bard coming through from Reckless right here. Jhin is one of the safer AD carries. He does have a lot of range and quite good wave clear. However, when you go get paired up against Misfortune, Misfortune wins the push at any time then. She does get really good trades through that laning phase. Having that ranged into the melee matchup in that bot lane will allow Crani and Reckless to get a lot of priority through that bot side of the map, which would very well be where Velia actually paths. If Velia chooses to start from that top side, his bot lane will be perma-prior for him.
Because again, bot is decided by supports, not AD carries. Common thing when you talk to pro supports is that it is the more important matchup. For Prime, this Alistar was something we saw the other day in the semifinals, really good at punishing that 2v2 lane of KC Blue. That's how Han Sumd got ahead. And I know, Froxtrop, you were also talking about how Han Sumd was favoring this Misfortune, how it was one of his best champions as Lost Ratones start with the invade down bot. This is going to be matched by IJC, and you look at Theocax, he wants to get in, get that smite first. Velia is trying to turn for a target, but smite is down. Airborne for the time being, Prime gets onto Velia, the ignite's down as well. Surge's flash is over in front of 4 people. Now, he will get the kill, but he gets 4 shot by Crowny. It's a 1-for-1 to open up game 1.
Oh, what a crazy start here already for Los Ratones and IJC. A kill over to Certus, traded back as well on Crowny. I'm not quite sure what's going to be coming out of this one here, but already just the ridiculous level 1 and invades. I have to think maybe it goes through IJC's favor right now, but a lot of summoners being blown. And if this is any indication for how things are going to go in this series, then I'm ready, baby.
It does feel like ultimately, kill for Victor in lane versus Orianna, less meaningful than the lane that we talked about for the 2v2 down bot that's going to have push. Naturally, Crowny getting a kill as well when bot was so important on our mind does seem to be something that can carry them forward. Velia continues the invade, kicks off on blue buff, and this is a full 3 camp clear if he sticks around.
Gonna be keeping that pressure up. Diakax is gonna get his blue buff stolen away. Don't think there's really too much answer to that one either. So Velia, who did have a tough start in this one, is gonna be able to get back a little bit here with that blue buff still. Diakax on the Skarner though won't care too much. It's a tough situation right now for the French jungler. Does want to get off to that good start, and he might be looking to go swing by topside onto Baus, who is pushing in kind of deep right now.
Now, if you're wondering, Trouble's still here. She just keeps hearing Archeron because in Portugal, that's the normal way they listen to League of Legends. That's actually...
We're back.
Oh,
okay,
you're back.
we're back. Yeah.
It's a shame. We just bring him in anyway.
All right.
He must be lonely because in every other break, for people that don't know, Archeron has a friend backstage. But this time today in the TriCast,
He
he's
has
alone.
no friends.
My wife's here. He can talk to my wife, but she doesn't watch League of Legends, so that'll be fun for him.
Oh, you know what though? When you do deprive Skarner from farming, he will find ways, because now he's jobless in his jungle.
Yep.
So he might be able to actually get the flash up of Nemesis.
There's a job offer for now, though. Nemesis with that flash, as you mentioned, is going to be taken straight away. Rock dodged as well, and Velia down bot, but a little bit too slow with summoner advantage mid.
I think this is fine for Skarner as well. Now this is the time for, I feel like, Handsome D and Prime to take a little bit more aggressive trades, if you will. It was lucky because, not lucky, it was good for Theocax because he managed to get the top lane Scuttle Crab as well. So now he can keep continuing cycling through his own jungle. And I feel like that wave is pushing on the bot side of the map.
Yeah.
And this is why the Bard makes such a better matchup right here than any Rel or the Alistar taken away from Reckless.
I mean, Cranny hasn't even gone back to pick up what the gold, rather, that he picked up from the earlier blood, but regardless, I mean, the 2v2 keeps going well. The priority from Velia as he showed on the map down in that bottom Scuttle River as well. And Theocax may be moving into position, but the wave, with its bounce back now, is in an okay spot.
Alrighty. All things said and done here, 5 minutes into game, we're kind of chilling right now.
Sorry, it's just so British, wasn't it?
What?
It's all said and done, isn't it?
All right then.
Alrighty.
Is it?
Yeah, alrighty then.
Well, I could go more British if you want. I've got a lot left in the tank, but I think
Right.
we'll save that as the
Right.
series goes on.
I can't wait
Hey,
for it.
we did exhaust some of that yesterday too.
We did.
We did.
Now, whatever you feel. Foxy, I shouldn't cut you off because I know you're going to tell me.
Are you gonna leave the room?
No, I'm not.
I wish you guys could
You're
just
meant to leave.
actually see Hysterics here. He's actually on the other side of the room.
I like
You would
pacing.
think we're stinky.
I'm a caster who paces. It feels good to pace.
That's true.
Pacer.
By the way, Symbiotic Souls on Baus never change.
Just-
I do think those boots are broken. 45 move speed base now, I think, or 40.
And a Baron recall? Okay.
And a
Yeah, it's
Baron.
the reset, I think, that makes it sexy. I mean, you were talking
Yep.
about the roams, though, that come through from Baus recently, how he's
Yeah.
been a lot better at that. Well, it certainly helps to have the Moby boots of current age in here as
Current
well.
age, yeah.
And Diakax was looking for that chicken camp respawn, but Velia cleared it a little bit unique timing here, so not going to find that, and instead looking for the first objectives. A dragon trade, most likely for these grubs in topside, a fair trade for both teams. But dragon stacking does simplify the game, make things a lot easier, and playing towards your bot side of the map. We said that would be happening a lot, and so far it's Los Ratones who are executing that one out.
As usual.
They do have a lot of push towards the bot side of the map, and we do know that Los Ratones do like to play primarily for dragons. They don't necessarily play towards the top side of the map a lot for the void grabs. Baus also with the respect, sitting in that pixel brush towards the top side of the map. Not overextending, not over pushing, and I would say I'm actually very excited to actually see how these teamfights will go, because I feel like Los Ratones have a lot of wiggle room to play their own game. Whilst for IJC, I feel like it's very straightforward.
Yep.
However, we pictured them at the very beginning of the day. It's like the front to back. Get Handsome D, fed on that misfortune, grab a few early kills, potentially some extra gold over Crowny, and then just play the front to back, lay the carpet, get some entry with Theocax, and just let them cook. Whilst Los Ratones have a lot more agency, if you will, with their champions on how they want to play that.
I guess my only question is going to be like, you know, with Hansam D, how is he going to get to play the game versus all the dive that you see on the right side of your screen here as well, the range that comes in as well. Misfortune's had this problem, I know it primarily in LPL, which I love to quote, but when you have such versatile comps that can play the all-in, you always put your hands in the air and be like, can he pull it off? I think we're asking those questions at semis as well.
I'll give the one caveat right
Please.
here. Misfortune really loves playing into champions that are immobile.
Yeah.
And Orianna, Jhin, in some theory, Bard as well. He's a bit faster, but he is an immobile kind of champion. He doesn't have a displacement spell. And that's what Misfortune loves in bullet time. So if Theocax can actually start the fight and you take someone out of the get-go, I feel like it's going to be much easier for Galio to play defense for Los Ratones rather than diving straight into that Misfortune.
That's where the bar pick comes in as well for Reckless, because as soon as that bullet time comes down, or she's in position to get a good bullet time, you slam your own ult down, and pretty much is a wash in that sense. Oh, flash away from Crowny.
Okay.
Good reactions right there.
Yeah, really nice though, and for Prime, always going to be worth it as well. So as Crowny loses this flash, he now hits level 6. The wave pushing up against them. No jungle pressure as you see Theocax is moving up towards top, and Velia's also been spotted on the top side himself, as he's just been power farming in this early game. Note the 300 gold lead and almost 20 CS up. Velia's looking really good after that earlier play, even though he died for First Blood.
Although once Skarner has a single giant spell, he's full build.
And now he has 2.
Yeah, exactly. He's got double full build now. He's sorted. Yeah, this is it, right? Statistically, both these junglers often fall behind early, right? They play a lot more towards securing the map state, playing towards their lanes. They're not very selfish. They don't necessarily play for themselves and their own economy, right? And so despite these being 2 of the best junglers we have here in EU Masters, their actual individual stats don't look that good. So this time around, Velia being a bit more selfish on that Viego, he needs to do that, right? He cannot go toe-to-toe and have the same amount of farm, the same amount of resources as a Skarner. Skarner's going to be way more useful in that situation.
It is nice, though, in Game 1. It's already set, the narratives we're talking about in pre-show. One was like, oh, carry junglers versus the dog, Scorpion dog. And then we look at top, and we're like, yeah, we didn't really mention much of it, but Howling's been this carry side lane threat. I feel like Rumble, Jax, maybe more so the Jax, but elsewhere, we're like, yo, mid laners have some similar pools. And then bot is just going to be about the 2v2 lane itself. And I feel like that's all kind of, line itself up nicely.
I will feel like the only caveat right here and the only quote-unquote issue that I would have with Skarner is that Cardstyle is not going to be as easy to stack. You're playing against 3 champions that have range on you. Galio doesn't necessarily let you hit him too much. And I feel like Velia is not necessarily going to choose to take that 1v1 into the Skarner. So usually Skarner is one of the champions that likes to stat check you, especially when you've got that giant spell, you've got so much HP, and champions don't really do a lot of HP damage early. And I feel like Theocax is going to have some trouble just stacking that Heartsteel to be that front line for his team.
I mean, the question is, though, when the enemy top laner is proxying this hard on your side of the map...
he'll move into the base after.
Yeah, exactly. If Theocax ever wants a Heartsteel stack, he presses B, waddles a few feet, he'll find Baus there.
On his way to his jungle.
Yeah, exactly.
You won't find him because he has a Baron recall.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Those Symbiotic Souls coming in clean. He is roaming down bot sides here, okay? Take a look at the minimap. Baus is on his way. He's got his ulti. Might be looking for a play on this next Dragon Spawn.
35 seconds, 30 seconds now for the next Baron. And I think the backs right here and items are going to play a huge part. There is no completed item yet. Very, very close for the Skarner as well. But no completion of items right here. And as you can see, there's actually really good vision on the back side inside Velia's jungle, if you look on his blue side. So everything is pretty much warded for the side of IJC. However, the TP was pulled from Howling on the top side of the map, and it will be a little bit difficult for that Rumble to get down that bot side of the map. So I feel like IJC might look to make a play and just get 6 Void Grubs.
Yeah, I think that's the call here. 6 Void Grubs. I mean, it's a lot quicker to start up these grubs as well and to make a play onto that. You can see Los Ratones not even on the map, really, to set up right here. Crowny's in spawn. Velia is walking through mid lane. So Theocax has now secured the 4th grub, which spawns those little voidlings. And can maybe even return back to them later. So yeah, really well read here from Ici Japon to catch Los Ratones a little bit off tempo.
Triple item completed as well. 2 of them, very importantly. Kraken Slayer, Viego, finally. None of that Trinity Force into Collector stuff. Kraken Slayer through, of course, disposes of Skarner much quicker, and the Alistar as well, 2 champions that do want to have a lot of HP on them. And IJC are going to do something that is quote-unquote illegal on jungle books. You never do neutral objective into neutral objective. However, because LR were behind in tempo, IJC, not only did they manage to get back on the map with items, but they also pushed their lanes out too.
But Prime just pulled the flash off, didn't get anything from Velia. And they can just come and take over this as well. Baus moved off the map, sacrificed the wave. You don't normally say that about the top laner, but his team play has been growing not only through the tournament, but through the past 3 months. Baus moves up, He loses the plate for it. Don't believe it went over to Howling in the end, but second Dragon now for Los Ratones off the back of that set pressure.
Speaking of illegal plays, maybe now it's Los Ratones who can do neutral objective into neutral objective. It seems as though Velia wants to go more for the farming of the bot side, but he could work his way up if that's the idea. Bearing in mind, Los Ratones didn't blow any kind of team fight abilities or cooldowns or anything like that. But it seems like they're just going to chill out instead, and the Reckless is at home chilling.
You know, while Grubs is strong, I think in the back of my mind in this game, I look at Misfortune, Victor, and I guess Rumble is the strongest turret pusher in my head, right? And his side lane pressure that you assume he's naturally going to have until maybe the Galio can withstand one or two items. This is what I'm talking about. The damage is already there onto Baus, who's got components, but not against the Leandri's tournament. Will he find anything?
Okay, it was actually not as bad as I thought, because Theocax had only taken one Void Grab to not allow Velia to get the feature strength if he heads towards the top side of the map. They expected that maybe even Los Ratones will stop them from getting these 6 Void Grabs, so Theocax took one, made sure that the feature strength cannot go over to Los Ratones, and then headed to Dragon. Actually, they did have pretty good pressure, but the second Baus went into Fog of War. You are playing for a 4 versus 5. Nice flash here from Certus. He's not going to have that for the next fight. 3.5 minutes for the next Dragon.
Are we worried about the immobility of IJC for Tempered Fate? You know, we're talking about the immobility on the right side of our screen. Just keep thinking more and more about some of these pickup ults. Like Tempered Fate, like Shockwave,
yes.
Galio ult.
Yeah, precisely, right? It's not just a Tempered Fate, but you lay down the Jhin ulti as well, right? You call that curtain, and suddenly how you're running away from it is Howling.
Okay.
Gonna find Velia.
But it's not a proper engage onto Velia. Trample will catch him eventually, but he flashes away. Galio ult comes on top, but they're outnumbered and they're outmanned. Baus has to burn his own as well. He'll run for his life as IJC, their topside play, fizzles out in 2 summoners.
A great roam by Prime there, because to be honest, there wasn't a lot for him to do at that side of the map, so I don't think Los Ratones were expecting him to be there. That's just very good cognizant play to be the right place at the right time to find that little skirmish and blow those summoners.
Yeah, good macro as well. You see Handsome D straight into that mid lane to take care of that wave. You had Certus heading towards the top side. The second that play was done, he TP'd straight into the bot lane to catch the wave that Nemesis was pushing. So IJC made sure that all the waves got pushed away. And right here, Los Ratones, they might be looking around for Certus as he has just lost his flash. Immobile mid laner. However, Prime is always around in all of these plays.
Sync up with Theocax has been good, and there's not much damage here from the Orianna as well, so they can play time.
Ooh, 50-50.
IJC thinking about over the wall, but Prime needs the Hex Flash to get over. Now channeling, he finds his Mark II man headbutt pulverize, trample into the Unbreakable Will, but the escape from Reckless is huge. Over the wall, Velia finds himself out as well, but Theocax is not done. He wants a target, he wants a kill now. The rock for the slow, and Velia burning down his Hans Sam D. Can't get him out of vision. No kill and a Tempered Fate. On to 3, it stops the play, and Los Ratones got out of that somehow without losing a member.
How does Velia get away on 1 HP? The invisibility came through. Handsome D even flashed for the last auto attack and just could not connect. Los Ratones running for the hills right there, and you kind of see that if you lose your advantage in terms of range, if IJC connect on you their engage, it becomes really difficult to get away.
IJC are looking very good here these past few minutes, finding Los Ratones, finding those engages and those skirmishes, and so much of EMEA Masters this year has been about these engages and these kind of fights. Whichever team can execute them better often comes out on top, and so far the LFL's representative doing very well.
I mean, they've poured back some of the gold. Crownie had a bit of a lead, but Hans Sam D has been able to catch his way back up despite the kill. Theocax as well has had full control on topside thanks to this rumble. And Howling has also enabled this Herald to be taken down.
Look at the bot side of the map. While this is going on, Los Ratones are aware. Reckless and Velia sneaked into enemy jungle. Look at all the vision they've put behind enemy lines. In 45 seconds, it will be so point if they can secure that Mountain Dragon. And with all this damage on the side of IJC, a Mountain Soul would be huge for Los Ratones.
And look at them exert their pressure. The fact that Nemesis had TP there and Certus had a bit of a cooldown, it's good respect shown from Theocax because numbers advantage is always going to be there from Los Ratones. So Herald stops for the time being. We go to a standstill. Dragon up in 20 seconds. Third for Los Ratones, and let's be real, IJC can't afford to give away third Dragon when we've got an Orianna Viego Galio on the other side of the map.
Yeah, this is the next big thing to fight over for sure. This Dragon, expect the sparks to fly. To be honest, Los Ratones haven't really gone for any aggressive plays. They've been able to find things, but it's more been the threat of the potential. But Nemesis now, speaking of threats, he's under some.
Crime's going to rush him in. Pulverize does connect. Tempered Fate zones out. Nemesis holds on. Gets stunned in the gravity field, but Theocax has to run through a wall to escape.
Look at the top lane, though. Howling is TPing in.
His TP angle, where is it going to be in this tri-brush for now? Nemesis zone controlling over 3, 4, 5 members. Everyone from IJC coming up from the bottom side of River as Baus looks to zone as well. The all-in, the shockwave sets up, Shield of Duran, 2-man. Deadly Flash doesn't connect, but Howling pops the ulti on the other side. Velia has to reconnect as it's a defensive ult from Baus. The curtain call does not get a kill. In the end, it's only helping out to zone and then control. Certus with a quick hit. Half HP, health bar's not good. Lost Ratones have played the waiting game of Deadly Flourish onto enemy jungler. Theocax is now low himself, zoned out as Nemesis auto attacks almost finds him and Impale. Going over to Baus, he takes a bullet time as well at the cost of Dragon. That will be his life.
It has been the case for Los Ratones. They have to sacrifice someone to get something on the map. That someone is Baus. But what a huge feat right here. 3 Dragons, 18 minutes into the game. They're going to be able to force a very early Mountain Soul. Again, if you look at the profiles of damage coming through from IJC, a Mountain Soul will be huge. And again, if IJC do not manage to connect early onto Los Ratones have the range advantage.
Theocax so close to going down right here. All that matters, though, is that Dragon. As you say, 3 Dragons now at 18 minutes. That's so much pressure now for the next 5 minutes for this this Dragon to spawn. If you get that Mountain Soul ready, I mean, that's tough.
You know, the problem with that play was Baus realized he was 0-0-0 at 17 minutes in the game. He had to die.
Rookie numbers, bro.
Like, he was like, bro, that's not him.
His fire was not ignited yet.
That's right. So he had to go in.
He wasn't playing League yet.
I know.
Now he's on.
Now he's on. Now watch the rest of the series. Here we go. Set up for the dive. Nemesis didn't burn his flash in the last play, but he burns it now. Shockwave rush from Prime to get out. It's a trade. Reckless is up here as well as the Herald eventually will be the cost of that summoner.
So we've seen these topside objectives. A lot of them gone over to Theocax so far, but what's the price? We'll take a look at the CS diff between these 2 junglers. Velia so far, when we've seen him with Los Ratones, domestically and here at the EMEA Masters, has not been selfish, has not played for himself, plays for his team. But look at this dude, 170 CS, 50 CS up over his opposing number right now. He's playing for himself, and this is a good thing to see because Los Ratones, when Velia can carry, do succeed.
Nice trade from Baus in the meantime. Certus does no damage at the moment, especially with AP Sunfire Cape. How is it possible to kill him? Chaos Storm comes out, that'll help clear the wave and just add some pressure.
The AP Sunfire Cape.
Yeah.
I love that.
Facts, yeah.
It's because I just get it confused.
AKA Hollow Radiance.
Hollow Radiance, there we go. I just get them all confused. Since League changed its items 2 years ago and like the components are what used to help me remember items.
Yeah.
And like I still remember like Warden's Mail. Yeah. Like components at the moment, tell me what tunnel it builds into outside of Steric's Gauge. Overlord's Blood Mail, right? 2 of them. But then it also builds into 4 other items. I think Shojin's in there.
I've got something even more exciting than this.
That's what's good.
Voracious Atakan on the map.
Holy.
We finally get the fun one. The one that actually teams love fighting over because it does make a difference. And especially if Los Ratones can pull in a Voracious Atakan right now, that will bleed into a Dragon.
Nemesis has the shockwave waiting as well. As you said, it's all about the Atakan pulled back even after the flash. The poke is there, but Theocax covering fire. Prime as well. Pulverizes. He's just angry as Los Ratones get out with a magical journey. Again, Reckless at the forefront of setting up and disengaging the play.
That's the flash bomb from Certus. That's not going to be available here for this next big fight. And as a Victor, you really need that to keep yourself safe. IJC, they have a lot of going forward tools, a lot of engage, a lot of aggressive stuff, but not a lot to peel back and disengage. That means that having these defensive summoners is honestly a lot of times all you've got.
That is a mid lane tower.
That is the mid lane turret. And the feats, almost...
Yeah, still not solved, are they?
Almost going
It's either
down,
2 kills for Los Ratones or 1 kill for IJC. That's where feats of strength is lying right now.
It's odd to have the kills be the last one to determine the feats, right?
Yeah, and
it's the first thing that goes down.
With Voracious Atakan being up, that's a great theme.
True.
Oh, Velia.
Certus again, that flash was just burnt, so Velia has a free kill here, especially with Reckless and Nemesis moving up and waiting, but caught out, and there's enough damage. Remember again, as Velia tries to run away, the TP's the only thing to dissuade, and it will do exactly that. Howling teleports to the Voracious side of the map, but you can see Baus is in the bottom side, taking the turret for the trade.
Yes, good stuff from Los Ratones here. The pressure generated on the other side and just not overforcing their hand, forcing IJC to respond, but still getting things on the other side of the map. This is perfect how you play the map right here. They're still going to dance around the Atakan. They've not lost anything, and they've got a tower for free.
Very importantly, some really huge item breakpoints. The Hourglass completed for Certus. He has been under attack for the past 5 minutes ever since they blew his flash. And also Infinity Edge for Misfortune. When you've got so many squishy members, and Dragon is about to spawn in 20 seconds. Go for Rash's Atakan right on the line as well. These items could come clutch.
20 seconds now for that big brown lizard. He's coming up. Both these teams want it. I think this could just be the defining factor of the game. Of course, now that I've said that, one team's going to take it and just walk away with it. We're not going to contest, but I would love to see a big old fight right here.
Let's see. Bounce is going to have to accept the wave. Of course, he will not miss that. Herald is going to be summoned and put pressure onto the bot side of the map. Bounce will just take this afterwards, but it enables IJC to start up this Dragon, playing slow for now, but Nemesis's damage puts Prime to half HP. That's a 2-item Orianna, who has so much zone control and heightened vision with the ball. Bounce is looking for zone himself. Velia's into the pick.
Look at Prime. Look at Prime on the flank on the blue buff. If he can get behind Nemesis, this could be huge. Nemesis no flash.
Bounce is frontlining for now, but Nemesis sees him, walks in, takes the Celestial Blessing. Bounce has no way but to go back in. Shield of Duran, he's walking fast though as a curtain call in front of the Dragon. Theok access to flash out. The Tempered Fate buys them time. Shockwave is the 2-man, but the Smite is in front, and a Mountain Soul given. Lost Ratones hit the mark hard in game 1 as Velia now has the heartbreak out. Crowning thinks about a re-engage. Teleport for round 2.
Yeah, Bounce recalled instantly with those symbiotic souls.
He felt it. He's like,
came back in with the TP. No kills going across. It was a 50-50 at the end of the day. And it is Velia who comes up huge. Mountain Soul for Los Ratones.
Again, the range on Los Ratones is so difficult to deal with. And now you've got extra defenses through the shield and the Mountain Soul from the Dragon that they just picked up. Theocax needs to find an opening. He needs to find a huge ult to make a difference. Prime has been trying to find ways around the jungle to try and get behind Nemesis when he did not flash. But now all flashes are up and available for Los Ratones, and IJC's task becomes even more difficult because Varash's Atakan is on the menu.
I think the Void Staff second, genius from Nemesis that has been really hurting Prime and Theocax as well. The poke and walking into the fog of war has never been more dangerous for IJC in this first game. It is a 300 gold lead for the LFL second seed, but with that Mountain Soul, the inherent gold value that comes out of it, plus the fact as well that this team is now moving up towards top to look towards the Atakan / Baron, is now what we have to start thinking about.
I just want to say that's been 4 Dragons that have gone to the side of Los Ratones. First of all, still no feats of strength. And second, the gold is in favor of IJC. Yeah. Even slightly, but still in favor of IJC. So you can see how they do manage to find their ways through pushing waves, getting towers, finding resources, while Los Ratones take control of those neutral objectives.
And you take a look at where that gold is for IJC. It's all on Hans Samdi. We
perfect place, baby.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they want, dude. Between him and Crowley, they've been the best farming, and to be honest, the best performing ADCs here in the entire tournament. Hamsamda, so good putting the eggs in his basket. And to be honest, I would argue, aside from the Mountain Soul, this is kind of Ici Japon's comfort zone, right? Where you've got enablers for the Misfortune to let it all happen. But of course, can they execute it in the team fights?
Might get an answer to that shortly because Baron or Atakan, either one on the menu. Lost Ratones group is 5, and Certus will have to teleport in here. Howling has threatened off the turret, that tier 1 with a minion wave in front of it. Both Atakan and the turret.
How do you walk up? You have no vision, you have no push waves, you have no towers. You walk up, you end up dying. I think what they're going to have to do is just give up the Varash's Atakan, but LR can just turn it into a Baron.
Nemesis flash pulverized, though. He flashes to get through the magical journey, and Brian went for a trip himself. Bullet time layers down in the choke. That's a great ulti from Hans Samdi, but Prime is still in the middle of nowhere with the curtain call on his face. That takes him down. A reset for Velia. Impale into the reset. He's bigged over. Velia gets a 3-man knockup. The Chaos Storm trying to do some extra work, though. Bounce with a 4-man taunt. It won't matter because he doesn't have any damage by his side.
Be a Baron.
IJC, the setup afterwards was perfect to take the Atakan from their hands.
So Varash's Atakan doesn't end up going down. Theocax actually connects on a 2-man ult, and now they can use the buff from the Varash's Atakan to threaten Baron as well. What a disastrous fight for Los Ratones.
Disastrous is the correct word in that situation. The Atakan was even leashed down to like a quarter HP, so IJC can easily take both of these down in a game that looked like it was spinning towards Los Ratones' favor with that early Mountain Soul has completely flipped around.
We're going to get a replay, but I mean, this started out Prime going through the journey.
And I feel like they blew so much onto Prime. Look at that bullet time. That bullet time forces everyone from Los Ratones out, which allows Prime to push Baus further towards IJC. And I feel like Velia and Reckless forget where they are for a second, and they walk straight into Skarner. And from there on out, IJC, we mentioned it, the Infinity Edge being completed, Hourglass 2.5 item Victor as well. It just melted through those HP bars.
The back to front, once everything was blown from Los Ratones, is so simple, right, for IJC. The damage coming through from Victor and Misfortune with that front line of Skarner. And a little bit of rumble there as well. It's just, yeah, you just walk up and right-click it, basically. Simple execution, and as you mentioned, Theocax coming up big with that ultimate. And now we get to see this Elder contest coming up in a minute 30 as well. We've stopped talking about Soul, but this is an extra big one as well, right?
I mean, Elder, as you said, that's going to define the game. 3-item Victor for that Elder as well. In the last fight, Certus, I believe, got all the kill credit, if not most of it, alongside Howling. So there are some real serious AP threats that Los Ratones have to deal with, as they're just losing gold fast with this Baron. Bot next on the menu with the tier 3.
Yeah, 2.6k gold up. That was our superstar matchup, if you will, of this one. But the bot lane tower is going to go down super fast.
It's a dive from Prime. He has the GA, remember. Baus almost stuns it, takes it off. Crowny close with the auto as well, but for the turret, it's okay. The curtain call looking for the cow in the pasture, but the heat gets layered down. Howling drops his ulti to stop the curtain call in his track, and bottom inhibitor is down at 29 minutes.
Hey, Handsome D attack, but Handsome D protect as well. He tried to cover for the bullet from Crowny right there, protecting Prime and the buff. And now Los Ratones really need to take control of that area. That Elder Dragon could very easily dictate who wins this game.
Wow, that lost team fight could not have come at a worse time for Los Ratones right there. Losing Atakan, losing Nash, losing Inhib, and potentially losing Elder Dragon as well. Really just...
Damn. Oh, he's gone in, and he gets the reset on the auto. Baus is dead. That's a horrible time for Baus. Died 20 seconds until the Elder spawns. 50 for Baus. That was not a good death.
No.
On me.
My bad.
That's
My
definitely
bad.
on him.
Yeah, unfortunate right there for Baus. Pushed up a little bit too far. And the thing is, he's itemized for Magicist, right? He's got that MR Sunfire Cape, not the actual Sunfire Cape. So, yeah, Hansamdi completely burns through him. And this should just be a free dragon right now. You see the Rats not even thinking about contesting this one. Just set to lick their wounds on the rest of the map. It's not looking good.
But that's actually really scary, because there's so much siege on the side of IJC. And they've been diving consistently onto Los Ratones. Now you've given them another tool to perma-dive you, with the execution coming through from the Elder Dragon. And a very unfortunate event here is that the whole triplet on the tops of Los Ratones, no flashes, Theocax flash up and available, and let's see what this Skarner can cook.
Oh dear. That's a jump. Good news for French fans. NLC, not so much. We don't like that.
Good Borat impression. Yeah.
I half sent it. I think it'll be inappropriate.
I think it was enough. Yeah, it was the perfect amount. Elder timer. I do not have it on my screen. I see 5 minutes till it respawns, but let's assume maybe another minute 30. No, I just had to look on the left. A minute 40, thank you, Trouble. So minute 40 to hold out. The top wave from Velia was pushed to give them that extra wave of space, but now crushing in tier 2 under fire. That's going to drop for sure. IJC looking for yet another inhibitor turret, and Los Ratones might have to send everything just to defend.
Yeah, and I'd like to see someone push mid. Luckily, Certus is there to push that one in. You do definitely want 2 lanes pushing at the same time. Get threat through the 2 mid lane and top lane with Theocax. Looking. Couldn't find anything this time around.
Well, Shockwave is going to find him, though, and there is enough damage if you're wondering. Good buffer! Great buffer from Velia. The ult from Reckless, too, as IJC are in numbers down. They send out the equalizer, but Baus re-engages. With the curtain call, it's okay until Baus dies for the trade. The burn from Leandres and the burn from Elder makes it even as IJC continue their pursuit. Crowny has to flash away, but he's out of an ulti, and Los Ratones, regardless of their defense, will still lose this top.
Yeah, this is a good fight for Los Ratones if Elder Dragon wasn't in play. The fact they even kill a Skarner in that situation, they threw so much towards him, it could have been so good. But of course, the burn, the constant burn from the Leandres, from the Rumble and everything, it's just not quite enough. Still losing that top inhib and all said and done.
Again, it's not an easy an easy to execute composition from the side of Los Ratones. You need Velia to go big so that Baus can actually be onto that backline as well. But again, if IJC connect, you have to play that Galio defensively, which then defeats the whole point of, hey, look at Viego. He's had time to farm all this time, but unfortunately, there's so much protection in CC on the side of IJC that Velia has not necessarily been able to get even resets.
I mean, so squishy. Without that tunneler, that's probably going to be a Sterix Gauge, which maybe gives him a bit more room to breathe so he can play a bit more in your face with Baus. But for Los
This makes it so hard, man.
It is, you're right.
Solari, Bloodthirster, Hourglass, full HP Skarner, Hourglass on Rumble as well.
Equalizer and Baus might be caught out. He has his flash available, but Hansam D gets it out of him with simple auto attack. So that flash is down 20 seconds before Baron spawns.
Yeah, Baus just can't play a Baus game today, right? Not in this one right now. He's forced to pick up waves close to his base. He's not generating any pressure of his own. He's just stemming the pressure that IJC are throwing at him. And Baus does not flourish in these kind of situations. Just seeing it here, not able to have too much of an impact. This Galio pick can still do things in team fights, but not when you're like a million gold down.
Not indeed. IJC, they have control over this vision. They have had for the past 5-10 minutes or so. Los Ratones trying to play a death rush. There's Shockwave imminent, but not going to be pulled by Nemesis. That's a tool that pulled in Theocax before and did the damages. Baron starts off completely blind right now for Los Ratones until now.
Yeah, they have the tools with Reckless as well in the bar to try and stop or bait a Smite right there. Velia is around. That's a flash to get into the pit as well as his ultimate to escape if he wants to. And Los Ratones, this might be the last defense.
I mean, Reckless can 50-50 this. If he gets an ulti down, Velia can jump in, but they're looking for the fight instead, and Baus moves to the left. Remember, Elder's down, so it's going to be a full-on 5v5 without enhancing buffs. With the Mountain Soul, is it enough for the NLC fans? The faithful holding out is again the LFL. They've always been rewarded in the past, and right now in this game one, they're still feeling strong, still holding that gold lead, and they've pushed Los Ratones off Baron to maybe think about starting it again.
As you still got the super minions though topside, right? So the pressure is on the Rats to clear out these minion waves and get back in time. Baron's been started up, it's on half HP, and we are nowhere near for some of the men of Ratones in the red carpet.
Poked out, he uses Command Protect for the time being, but Velia finds Prime, wants the kill. The Chaos Storm is down, the Heartbreaker gives a reset. Baron is going to die, but Los Ratones are looking for the fight. Baus needs the stun, the fourth shot, almost finding the kill. Velia looking for a new angle. Remember, this guy has been ahead all game, and now he wants to flaunt it with a root down. This Skarner's going to drop, and Baron enhanced recalls being channeled and not taken. The third kill going to be coming up right now as Velia might get stunned up, and Certus has an option, but Command Protect, thank you from Nemesis. He screams out as a third kill, eventually going to be dropping down.
Ooh.
They're delaying it. They are scattering the recalls.
All right, and we've got Dragon coming up in 50 seconds. That delay on the death for Certus could be the numbers advantage that Los Ratones are looking for the Elder Dragon. You can see the Baron is going down on the top side of your screen, and the rest of IJC are running interference, but Los Ratones just pick it up and use the split fight to start something in their favor.
And I always see the value on Viego on what type of souls you can pick up. And right here, he had the Alistar. He could follow up on these fights, re-engage. That was a huge win fight right here for Los Ratones. However, there are still Baroned up members on the side of IJC, Misfortune and Rumble. And I feel like Handsome D still hasn't said his last word.
True.
106, 4 items, pickaxe in his inventory as well.
It's going to be a tough one right here for this team fight. Los Ratones, it all comes down to this, your game number one.
Well, Baus doesn't have flash, but he has an angle. I'm looking at IJC for primes engages that have led to one thing and another. Shield of Duran finds that Alistar's teleport now going to be channeled. That's the Victor who is mistimed at 4K, though we look towards the pit, and Theocax is in there. Velia is not over the wall.
We got it!
The steal! The Rats get in, scurry through the sewers, and take the Elder, which might lead to the game. Baus plays defensive on the play, but you see that the execute will lead to another. A triple kill over to Crowny. They threw it away top. They bring it back down bot, and is howling, runs for his life. The Rats are doing it. They've brought it back in the opening game of finals.
An open base, a goal deficit, and a 50-50 smite to bring it back. Velia smites that Elder
Dragon and Los Ratones are marching for their first win in this final.
Ain't no way we're seeing Los Ratones win. You rewind 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and IJC had everything but the W. It was all in the bag. It was a formality, but Los Ratones are tenacious, and they will take game number 1.
And we talked about experience, but I look at the rookie jungler with that miracle steal. And I see the hope for the future for EU. NLC, 1-0 start against LFL in the finals.
Bruh, was not expecting that at all. Was not expecting that. I generally thought that